Hi guys, thank you guys for being here. This is our presentation on leaders in our local government. I'm Veronica Puente.
I'm Sabrina.
We're presenting this on behalf of the Latino Leadership Initiative, Next Gen Civic Leaders, and UW Bothell Office of Connected Learning. We're working with the Next Gen Civic Leaders, and with this, it's a program through UW, it's tri-campus, and with this, it allows us to have connection to public service and implement change within our community. So we're going to give you an overview of our event. We held our event on April 24th, 2025 at 6:30 in Discovery 62, and we also had a portion of it in the collaboratory. Our goal of this event was to provide representation and to encourage involvement into our government within our communities. We know that in the current climate of society today, it is important to have the Latino community represented. And we did not only gear this at the Latino community in specific, there was also, we invited people of all walks of life to attend our event because we do believe that getting involved in government and being educated is very, very important. We want to acknowledge the fact that this is a scary time of life right now, and the idea to be educated on what's happening in our government is very important. So we're going to introduce you to our panelists that we are very grateful to have at our event. We have our very own Juan Perales. He's sitting in the corner back there. He is a UW grad. He studied poli-sci. He leads Unidos, and he fights for extremism, white supremacy in Washington State in order to unite the law enforcement within our community. We also have Carmen Rivera. She is Renton's youngest and first queer council member. She also serves as the Seattle U Assistant Dean and Criminal Justice Professor. She works to provide equal opportunities to the youth in our community. We also have Patricia Loera. She is from the Yakima Valley, and she worked in UW in order to help with the education system in order to support students, and now she assists the governor on education policies. We also have Rami Alcavara. He is Bothell's deputy mayor. He works in order to support DEI, Black Lives Matter, and support immigrant voices as a business and tech innovator. He is a Palestinian American and was the first Muslim elected to Bothell City Council. We were very fortunate to have all four of these members here at our event. In connection to reaching out to these people, I'm also from the Yakima Valley, so I have connections to Patricia, and so did Sabrina. They were able to meet her at Huskies on the Hill. And Rami is part of Bothell, so he was more than willing to come, and we had him on a short notice. Carmen we had connections with her through the Office of Connected Learning. They were able to help us get in contact with her, and Juan Perales.
So in the activity development for this entire process, as Veronica mentioned, were able to leverage our different connections. So some of our group members went to Huskies on the Hill to lobby for financial aid, where we met Patricia. And then, of course, Letty also helped us with getting those contacts. So thank you, Letty. We had a collaborative process as we brainstormed ideas for what our programming was going to be like, what kind of speakers did we want. Do we want like Latino leaders, or are we going to need to expand that a little bit? And we also added the idea for a networking session so that our attendees could meet with the panelists one-on-one and ask direct questions about policy, work that they're doing, and anything that they're interested in. We had some bi-weekly updates on tasks to be done, not only through our LLI meetings, but also through a few Zoom calls here and there, as well as consistent communication through chat, text message. We made a presentation with panel questions and civic engagement resources that we provided at the event, and those are some examples of the questions that we asked the panelists and some of the resources that we provided, such as connecting to your city council, find state laws, understand legislation. And we did a lot of marketing, mostly for campus organizations and our own peers and professors. We presented in our classes, shared the flyer with anyone and everyone within the campus community, and we used one Google Sheet to track all our progress, put all the contact names of the speakers, their bios, everything comprehensively in one place, because as you'll see soon, there were some things lost in communication, and it's really good to have all the bases covered. So outcomes, we had a very successful event because people were educated in the stories of how ordinary individuals can and did and will stand up against injustice. The speakers were sincere, authentic, and motivating. None of that usual politically correct politician spiel. They were very honest about the real challenges that they are facing in the field. And the attendees were able to network and ask questions directly to local government and nonprofit officials. And through the introduction of Rami, who was one of our last-minute additions, thank you so much, we had a deeper appreciation and solidarity with diverse communities, and understanding that even if someone doesn't exactly share our same ethnic background, there are still individuals out there that are fighting for all immigrant communities and our rights. And a student interested in running for city council said it was very helpful for them on their journey.
So the panelists were represented in intersectional identities, which offer fresh perspectives. We had the chance to see how people from various walks of life face adversity and injustice in their own ways. It was inspiring to see how they worked hard and devoted their lives so that others wouldn't have to face the same issues that they did. The presenters combined their own stories with civic engagement, making their talk not only speeches, but their lived experiences. Like all projects, challenges do arise at the academy and couple. One of the issues that we face is that the location for our event kept changing. This was pretty hard because we had already printed flyers and with one location and posted them around the campus as well as Skagit College. Both, only to find out that the location had a change of plan and our precious work was already outdated. Speaking of wanting to promote the event and get a big turnout, we also had a bit of some concerns about not making our event too big. Due to the current political climate, we had some concerns about what if a racist person decided to cause a ruckus in our event. Luckily, we focused on horrible measures towards just the two campuses and also used out social media and still had a really good turnout. There was also plenty of confusion as well about whether some speakers would show up or not. We kept communication open and made sure that we could plan around any predicaments as they came up. Lastly, one of the speakers for our event showed up despite very short notice, and so that was very nice of them.
Our panels show some very truly powerful insights. Here are some of that stand out to us. One of my favorites is Patricia's Brier, which is we can't sit down, let things happen around us, even small things. Small steps are meaningful, which is very, it's very empowering to hear. I'm going to take a picture of here. And then throughout the whole presentation, we learned a lot throughout it. One of the things that we learned was that representation matters. Seeking leaders from similar cultures and personal backgrounds inspires host belonging in the city.
We see that leadership can take many forms in our society today. We encourage our students and our society to see that leadership is not only seen in one way or another. You can be a leader quietly or you can be a leader loudly, and that doesn't mean just in politics, just in government. That can be in any way, shape, or form that you make an impact in somebody's life.
Another lesson is that lived experience is expertise. A common theme from our speakers was how a lot of times people that are working in policy, they don't have the same lived experience that is affecting people in the most vulnerable positions. And getting their direct insight and lived experience with things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, white supremacy, justice, and even Palestinian justice was really powerful and impactful.
Collaboration builds power. I fall in love with what Brier said. Just because the background that you're from doesn't mean that you
alone. This is something that we must work together to do. And although we can make changes as an individual, change as a group is amazing.
At the end of our event, we wanted to hear feedback from the attendees, and mainly most of our feedback was how they enjoyed our panelists and we want their information so they can contact them themselves, which was very nice to hear because we weren't sure if they were enjoying it or we have the perfect panelists, but hearing their feedback, it shows that they did enjoy it.
And we all wrote and pitched in a word to reflect on. We're hoping to see more conversation spaces like this, both on campus and beyond. It is so important to get leaders from intersectional identities, coming from different fields, all together in one room to brainstorm, talk about the youth for ways to get involved. It kind of hits a lot of bases and provides a lot of ideas, not just one track way. And one word that I put was motivating. This is very motivating for me personally, although I'm a data visualization major, more focused on tech. I have been exposed to policy and advocacy through Latino Leadership Initiative and Next Gen Civic Leader events. So as someone who is passionate about potentially going into policy in the future, seeing that people in policy aren't always just, for lack of a better word, BSing us, was very good and very motivating to continue that field.
For me, a word that stuck out to me was hope. I'm also interested in policy, hoping to put myself in the government field in the future. And Patricia Loera is from my hometown, so seeing her being able to make changes in the community, in our education system, was very hopeful to me and just shows me that I'm able to make change. I also, we have another member of our group that was not able to be here today, but she chose the word community. And in that word, we felt that gathering as a community is very important, and seeing that you have others around you to support you. We had our panelists there, which were very vocal about being willing to hear what the community has to say and what the community needs.
I am a lover of history, and that's why I think it's so important that education be defended, especially in this political climate. People need to learn about history and how people manage to stand up for each other. We are not alone in this world, and education is our power and strength that guides us through life.
Picking up on that, I think it's encouraging because, like Patricia said, it's nice to be able to speak up for yourself and let others know we also matter.
We just want to say thank you so much for attending that presentation.
Any questions?
I have a question. So I was at the event and I saw that first there was like a panel session and then the next was a Q&A to a different location. Where did you guys like find that idea or inspiration? Like where had you seen that implemented before?
So we actually were very fortunate enough to work with ASUW, and they were able to give us the idea of what they called speed dating. We changed it to speed networking. But they had used it in an event previously to give their attendees a chance to network with the people that they had attending the event, and they just got to sit around and basically do exactly what we did, ask whatever questions they felt they wanted to ask the panelists, and we timed the session so that everybody got to go around. But yes, we were very fortunate enough to meet with ASUW and be able to get some insight from them on what would make our event successful.
And for that session, it was a rotating type of thing, so the panelists would stop at different tables. We also made a list of sample questions just in case anyone was stuck or didn't have any ideas. We had some cutouts of questions so that people could refer to it in case that they wanted ideas for what to ask.
Any other questions?